I've always been fascinated by old abandoned houses. I love exploring them, taking in their haunting beauty and imagining what life was like for the people who used to live there. But there's one house in particular that I can't stop thinking about. And the scariest part is not what you think. It all started when I was looking at old property listings online. That's how I stumbled upon this house in the first place. It looked like your typical rundown Victorian with peeling paint and overgrown bushes. But there was something about it that drew me in. I couldn't take my eyes off the front door. The next thing I knew, I was making plans to visit. When I arrived, the house seemed even more imposing up close. I walked around the yard, taking pictures and trying to ignore the feeling that I was being watched. The back of the house was in worse shape than the front. Broken windows and a sagging roof made it look like it could collapse at any moment. But it was the boarded-up basement window that really caught my attention. It was clear that whoever had lived here had gone to great lengths to hide whatever was down there. I tried to peek through the cracks in the boards, but all I could see was darkness. Then I heard it, a low, guttural growl that seemed to come from the basement itself. I ran as fast as I could to get away from that house, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was following me. When I got home, I looked up the address to see if there were any news stories about the house. That's when I found out that it had been abandoned for over 100 years. According to the local historian, the last person to live there was a recluse who kept to himself. He disappeared one day and was never seen again. Some said he'd run off with the circus, while others claimed he'd been taken by wolves. But no one knew for sure. That's when I decided I had to go back. I wanted to find out what had happened to him and what was going on in that basement. When I got back to the house, I wasn't alone. A group of teenagers had also shown up, and they were planning to spend the night there. I didn't want to scare them off, so I joined them. We explored the house together, swapping scary stories and trying to keep each other's spirits up. But as the night wore on, I could feel the energy in the house growing darker and darker. Then we found it. One of the rooms upstairs had a loose floorboard. As soon as one of the kids stepped on it, it gave way and they fell through into the basement. They screamed in terror as they tumbled down the stairs. But before anyone could help them, the floorboard slammed shut. We were all too scared to move at first. But then I remembered the growling sound I'd heard before. It was coming from under the floorboards. Whatever was down there was alive and it was angry. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I put my ear to the floor and listened. And that's when I heard it again. The growl. It was getting closer. I ran as fast as I could, but the basement stairs were dark and I couldn't see where I was going. Then I felt something grabbed my ankle and pulled me down. I screamed for help, but no one could hear me. I struggled to free myself from whatever had a hold of me, but it was no use. It was too strong. Then I saw it, basement window. It had been pried open from the outside. Whoever or whatever had been down there had gotten out. And as I looked into the darkness beyond the window, I saw the faintest glimmer of movement. It was just a fleeting glimpse, but I knew what I had seen. There had been a person standing there watching me, and now I realized why the floorboard had given way. It hadn't been by accident. Someone or something had wanted me to fall into the basement. But who or what? And why? I managed to escape the house and haven't looked back since. But sometimes when I think about that house and the evil that lurks within its walls, I can still hear the sound of scratching in the darkness and feel the icy grip of terror that tells me I am not safe. That whatever's down there wants me to come back so it can claim me as its own.